Are you following your heart every day, your highest excitement, your soul's mission, that what you really came here to do? Or are you sometimes holding back, playing it safe, and listening to the mind? That is what I ask myself a few times a day. Because a few years ago, I found out that I was actually thinking that I was following my heart for a long time, but it was the mind. Then I became more aware of how to distinguish the two, which may seem obvious for some, but for me it wasn't so obvious. And I think the mind can be very tricky. It make you believe all sorts of things that are maybe not the highest for you. How to distinguish that. I thought I can share a bit of my own experience and perspective so that hopefully you can also get more clear on what is actually here for you. That what is your highest timeline, I would say. In general, it's probably very clear, right? If you feel excitement about something, it's for you. Now, many teachers say this. Bashar or Abraham Hicks also follow your highest excitement. Or Bentinho Massaro, follow the breadcrumb trails of your excitement. So if you feel excited to book a ticket to Australia, you do it, you go, you have a great time, great. You followed your highest path without any fear. But the moment you decide to go to Australia, what can happen also is already thoughts come up, limiting beliefs. Can I afford it? Are there not creepy animals? that would be my thought. How big are the spiders there? Or stuff fears like that. So there would be a lot of fear also rising up at the same time as the excitement. And then it's your task, your duty to keep following the excitement and don't listen to the fear. But in these two examples that I mentioned, I think it's still quite clear. It can be more tricky, and I hope that I can explain it well. But sometimes you feel resistance towards something, and maybe not even a little bit of excitement, only resistance. And then you think, of course, yeah, so I feel a lot of resistance. It's not for me. But don't take that as a no. Because that's the mistake that people make often. If there's a lot of resistance, it's probably for you. And it can suck for the mind. You're like, fuck, but I don't want to do it. Yeah, I know. But then once you start, it can be anything. I feel that you start to realize more, but I do want this. This is what my soul wants. If there's something that's generally not for you, you would not feel anything at all. At least that's my experience. If you ask me, it's a bit of a weird example, but hey, Mathilde, you want to twerk for 1,000 people on stage? I would say no. For the benefit of all, no. But there's also no resistance in me. There's no excitement, there's nothing. I would not do that. I cannot dance and, well, let alone twerk, that's something else. But that's a bit silly. But if you ask me, hey, do you want to sing for 1,000 people on stage? I would say, oh, yeah, I would love that, but that would also scare me. So then I have a sort of resistance and excitement at the same time. But what if you have a situation where you only feel resistance? There was a time in my life where I felt, it sounds a bit exaggerating, but it's the best word. I want to say misunderstood. I think we all have that phase. I tended to be less and less social. Like in my student times, I would say I was quite social. But then after that, I had a sort of, how do you call this in English? Hermit. I had a hermit years. And in those hermit years, I tend to be more and more alone. But not on a victim role level. Also, I just felt like, I can be very good by myself. And that's true. I feel very complete alone. And I like to do things alone. But I was also telling myself that story because there was actually a lot of fear to connect with people, to be myself with people, to open up to people, to be vulnerable with others. And because of that fear, I told myself the story, I don't need anyone at the moment. I don't want to connect. But at some point, I realized I was actually lying to myself. I felt a lot of resistance at meeting new people and going to social activities until I started doing it. And I realized how happy I was afterwards and how my heart desired this connection as well. Every heart desires to connect. I think there may be very few people who are actually really good at being hermits. I mean, like we all need a bit of love and connection. That's how it's an example of a tricky thing, you can tell yourself something, but what is the truth? And my soul does want to go out and connect with infinite amount of people and learn from others and doesn't want to stay home alone. No. Social anxiety, whatever kind of resistance, whatever kind of triggers, it's showing you something that's actually there for you. So don't listen to it. Don't buy into it. Because again, as an ending, if something is generally not for you, you would not feel anything. At least you can it's an open discussion, right? I'm just sharing my perspective. Maybe I'm wrong. I believe that yeah, that's true for me, at least.